Alright guys, so starting another morning cleaning video. Everybody out. Let's go. Let's move. Come on. There we go. Let's go, children. Come on, get away. There we go. Yeah, let's go. Other way, buddy. Come on. The other way. Come on. Go over there. Come on. Go. Let's move. Okay, we're gonna move this big guy right here. Hey, you're on my drain. Come on. Come on. You're on my drain. I can't do anything if you're there. Same with you. Come here. Go the other way. Come on. Yeah, move. Come on. You gotta move. Come on. Come on. You gotta get out of the way. Big goofball. Come on, Swampy. Ugh. Oh, goodness. Over there. Step. Alright, Swampy. Let's go. Doing this one-handed. I'll hold the phone in the other hand.
Excuse me. Time to wake up, Tiger. Zion. You're late for Tiger Splash. You're late for the show. Well, it's no one's fault but your own. Come on now. Let's go to the show. Let's go to the show. This way. Come on, Zion. That's right. Good morning.
I woke up one morning and my truck was covered with more bees than usual, so I ran outside in my pajamas to see what was going on. A swarm of bees that I caught the night before was leaving their hive and swarming again. I tried to offer their new hive back to them, but they weren't moving in very quickly, which told me that they wanted to go somewhere else. It was a race between me and the bees. I had to find the queen before the bees found a place to fly off to. After a few minutes, I found her. I put her in a clip to keep her safe, but before I could put her in the new hive, I had bees swarming to her in my hand. As soon as I put the queen in the hive, the bees began to go right in. I still had some bees on my hand who weren't leaving because they could still smell their queen on me. So I shook them off so they could find her. Within minutes, the entire colony was rushing to get back into their new hive. You can see how fast they were moving and how the queen was covered in bees. I waited for all the bees to get into their hive, and it was another great day of saving the bees in my pajamas. Bees had been living in this backyard shed for at least 2 years. The landlord wanted to call an exterminator, but the family who lived here wanted to save the bees, so they called me. When I lifted up the floor, I found a huge hive full of gentle bees. The hive was so big I had to remove another section of floor to access the entire thing. Then I started removing the hive. Whatever I removed from the original hive went right into the new one so the bees would have everything they need to survive. After I removed all of the comb, I started scooping bees into the new hive. As soon as I put the bees by the new hive, they marched right in. Then a stream of bees began running out from under the floor into the new hive. So I waited and watched to see if I could spot the queen bee in the crowd. After about 15 minutes, she appeared, so I put her in a clip to keep her safe. Once the queen was in the new hive, some bees began sending signals to help the other bees find their way home. I left the hive overnight, and by the next day, the entire colony was in their new home, and it was another great day of saving the bees.
This trend is so cute, OMG.
not going to believe me when I tell you this, but I promise it's true. And I even got it on camera to prove it. I found a jellyfish that was trying to die, gave it a kiss, and yeeted it back out into the ocean. Now for the crazy part. I found a shrimp named Monica with seaweed on her head, and she also had a huge, bulging parasite infecting her gills. I couldn't let this parasite suck on Monica any longer. I slowly and very gently began lifting her gill flap and pulling out the invasive blood-sucking isopod parasite. Once the surgery was complete, I yeeted the parasite to my friend Franklin the sea chicken, but his friend Josh tried to eat it, so he scared him away. And Franklin's hot girlfriend Tracy was no fan of their immature behavior, so she decided to eat the parasite herself. I gave Monica some pets and set her free, and be sure to follow if you love ocean animals.
Yo ho, all hands hoist the colors high. Heave ho, thieves and beggars, never shall we die.
Hey!
There you go, bud. Man, you are a big kangaroo. Ooh, those are strong arms. Oh! Yeah, okay. You're getting me a little bit closer than I want to be because you want to kick me.
There is a dog in the cheetah cage.
Most of y'all probably already know why there's a dog in the cheetah's crib, but for those that don't, you're welcome in advance. Cheetahs get bodied by every aspect of life. It's so bad that up to 90% of cheetah cubs will be in the ground before their first birthday. And apparently the generational trauma of being a Cheeto-flavored doormat has given them severe anxiety. Cheetahs in captivity often experience high stress. It's so bad that many cheetahs are too shy to mate. You can't really afford to be shy when you're really one bad year away from being endangered. Solution? Some zoos like the San Diego Safari Park will assign emotional support dogs for the introverted wildcats. The idea is that the cheetahs model their behavior after the dogs and take social cues from them, all while gaining a much needed friend. By having a morality boost in the form of a dog, the cheetahs gain confidence and become less agitated, which makes it easier to get them to mate and make more of themselves. To somehow make this story even more wholesome, many of the dogs San Diego used were rescued from shelters. In fact, this dog named Hopper was actually taken from a kill shelter. The cheetah cubs are first introduced to their new best friends when they're about 3 to 4 months old, when they go on supervised playdates. If they seem to get along, the cheetah and the dog are both moved into the same living space where they become roommates and basically spend every moment together. Except when eating, but only because the dog would eat all the cheetah's food if you gave him the chance. Other than that, they're pretty much inseparable. Reason 9000 we don't deserve dogs.
There's one thing you can expect from me, and that's the unexpected. 'Cause I'm an international super spy. Super spy!
Had been living in this washing machine and I was called to remove them. So I carefully lifted the lid, and I found a beautiful hive full of honey and very gentle bees. When I looked inside, I saw layer after layer of fresh honeycomb. The bees had worked so hard to build this hive, and I wanted to do everything I could to preserve it for them. So I started to remove the outermost parts of the hive with nectar and honey. Then I reached the heart of the hive, the brood nest. This is where the queen lays eggs and where the baby bees are born. Everything that I removed from the washing machine would be given right back to the bees in their new hive, but these pieces of comb were pretty big, so I had to cut them in half to fit into the wooden frames of the new hive. I secured each piece of comb to a frame using rubber bands, then I put the comb into the new hive. Next, I started scooping bees out of the washing machine and putting them into the new hive. As a professional beekeeper, the most important part of my job is being able to understand bee behavior, and I could tell that these bees felt comfortable with me as we worked together. After most of the comb had been removed from the washing machine, I looked around and suddenly I saw the queen at the back of the washing machine. She was a strong and beautiful queen, so I put her in a clip to keep her safe and I put her in the new hive. It looked like most of the colony had moved to the outside of the washing machine, so I used my smoker to herd them into the new hive using a little bee bridge I made for them. I scooped a few more handfuls of straggler bees into the new hive. Then I left the new hive there all afternoon. When I returned just before sunset, most of the bees had moved into the new hive, so I loaded the bees into my truck and we drove home. I had just enough daylight left, but I was able to get them settled into their new home in my apiary, and it was another great day of saving the bees.